A Cooked Up Fairytale by Penny Parker Colossaman. Although William lived in the magical land of fairy tales, he preferred pastries to princesses, kitchens to kingdoms, and recipes to the royal reporter. William dreamt of being a chef known throughout the land. Whether sautéed, sieved, basted, or baked, pureed, poached, filleted, or flaked, William's dishes were perfect. But cooking happily ever after was a different story. He tried working at the brick house, but the menu was too dangerous. He'd served up porridge at Three Bears Bistro, but folks were too picky, and he'd baked for gingerbread on the go. That hadn't ended well either. William decided he'd better cook from home, but his pantry was almost bare, so he emptied the last few coins from his cookie jar and headed to the market. "What's this?" asked William. "Fairy tale food? Must be splendid." But it was only raw apples, beans, and a pumpkin. "This isn't splendid," said William. "Clearly, fairy tale headquarters needs a good chef to spice things up before the bedtime delivery." So he sliced and diced, chopped and topped, and stirred and stirred. Then he packed up his delicious creations and followed the signs to fairy tale headquarters. "Judy, I need the apples, and I need the beans. The pumpkin, Judy, the pumpkin." "Where can the delivery be?" asked Judy in a stew. "I believe I can help," said William. "May I present baked apples with cinnamon drizzle, bean soup with smoked ham, and pumpkin pie with cream and candied pecans." "Who, what, why?" stammered Judy. "I need shiny apples and raw beans and a whole pumpkin. Don't you know anything about fairy tales?" "I'm sorry," said William. "I read cookbooks, not fairy tales, but maybe I could—" You've cooked up enough trouble," said Judy. "It's bedtime and the tales must begin. Now leave, and take this book of fairy tales with you." William plopped down outside the kingdom wall and opened the book. "Poison apple? Beanstalk? Pumpkin coach? Oh my," said William. "Fairy tales really do have their own ingredients." He rushed back to find Judy. "Did I spoil the apple story?" he blurted out. "Snow White? Actually, she loved her baked apples and ate every one. She was also so stuffed that she fell into a deep sleep. Of course, this caused a stir with those 7 dwarfs. There was a passing prince, and a kiss. So, happily ever after." "Thank goodness," said William. "And the bean story? Jack and the beanstalk?" "The giant said something like, 'Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell soup, and I want some.' Jack was in a pickle, but he drove a hard bargain and traded the pot of soup for the giant's castle in the clouds. Another happily ever after." "Such a relief," said William. "What about the pumpkin tale? Cinderella?" "It's still unfolding. We'll find out together." "Oh no," said William. "This is a recipe for disaster." Then, slip, flip, rock, smack. "Scrumptious," said the prince. "Simply delicious." He took another bite and said, "I vow to search all the land until I find the baker of this pie." Cinderella slumped in her puddle of pumpkin. "This isn't happily ever after," sighed Judy. "Happily ever after," murmured William. He strolled right into the fairy tale. "Your Highness, I baked the pie, and I will bake you pies ever after. But may I suggest you can have your pie and your princess too?" The prince gazed at Cinderella. "You're a feast for my eyes," he said. "Would you care to dance?" My," said Judy. "It looks like you've cooked up another happy ending." And from that night forward, the prince and his princess ate like kings and queens, and William cooked happily ever after.